we add these two rational expressions, okay? They're fractions, but with polynomials, we call them rational expressions. And we do this in the usual manner, and everybody had no trouble getting from here to here to here. Okay, everybody multiplied, you know, I think recognize the common denominator is x plus 2 times x plus 4, and they have to multiply numerator and denominator here by x plus 4 in order to get that denominator, and this one by x plus 2 over x plus 2 to get that denominator. And I hope you always also recognize that if you don't multiply it by something divided by itself, you're changing it. If you multiply it by something divided by itself, you're multiplying it by 1, and you're not changing it, you're just changing the way it looks. So I want to reinforce that idea. In any case, now you have the same numerator, you can add the numerators and you keep the denominator. And everybody's getting a pretty good reflex with this. Make sure you understand why you're doing it, otherwise it can get away from you if we don't use it for a while. Okay, now, people still having a little bit of trouble applying the distributive law to this multiplication because you're used to that F word thing that I despise. And I mean that thing that abbreviates first, outer, inner, last. I think it's an atrocity. It is useful when you're learning to factor trinomials. That's about the only place. And you can't replace understanding of the distributive law, as this problem will show you. Looks a lot like this one, but you can't use that, okay? You can't use that trick. So the only place you should be using that F thing is if you're factoring trinomials. I can live with that. But if you're multiplying binomials like this and this, you really need to do it by the distributive law so you get used to it and reinforce it. Okay, so let's go down here before I do this, because we did it, but some people still had trouble with it. What's x minus 3 multiplied by aardvark? Don't look. What is it? Well, you should understand, and I think everybody does, it's kind of a reflex. It's x times aardvark minus 3 times aardvark. Okay, so x minus 3 times aardvark is x times aardvark minus 3 times aardvark. That's the distributive law of multiplication over addition. Now, minus 3 doesn't look like an addition, but really it's plus negative 3. It really is an addition. Subtraction and addition are kind of equivalent operations in that sense. Okay, so we distribute. And if you want, you can distribute over the minus sign. That works. So what is x minus 3 times x plus 4? Well, treat x plus 4 as your aardvark. It's going to be x times aardvark minus 3 times aardvark, right? But now, instead of aardvark, we're going to write x plus 4 because that's what aardvark is standing for. And we have, instead of x times aardvark, we have x times x plus 4. Instead of negative 3 times aardvark here, negative 3 times aardvark, we have negative 3 times x plus 4. It's negative 3 times x plus 4. And then we apply the distributive law again, because if you multiply x plus 4 by x, the multiplication again distributes over the addition. So you have x times x plus x times 4, which is, of course, x times x is x squared, and x times 4 is 4x. And then negative 3 times x plus 4, well, that's negative 3x. And minus 3 times 4 is negative 12. Then we can combine our two like terms, and we get x squared plus x minus 12. Okay? So that's the use of the distributive law, and that's all we did here. Okay, we got our x squared plus 4x minus 3x minus 12, and that's simplified to x squared plus x minus 12. I didn't write that out. And as a matter of fact, I made a mistake because I didn't write that out, but so be it. Okay, so our x minus 3 times x plus 4 is this, which is this. Now, x times x plus 2 is x squared plus 2x. I'm sorry, let's go back. X minus 1 times x plus 2 is x times x plus 2, there it is, minus 1 times x plus 2, there it is. Make sure you really see that. And then x times x plus 2 is what? X times x is x squared. X times 2 is 2x. Here, negative 1 times x is negative x. Negative 1 times 2 is negative 2. So here we have all the terms that we get from this product. Okay? Then we collect our terms. We got x squared and x squared is 2x squared, 4x and 2x. Well, 4x minus 3x plus 2x minus x. That's really 4x minus 3x is x, 2x minus x is x. So we get x plus x, 2x. Any way you want to add these four terms, all the x terms, it's very easy. Minus 12 minus 2 is minus 14. Our denominator is obtained similarly. I'm not going to go through it, but we just use the distributive law here to get this, and we use the distributive law on each of these to get this, and that combines to x squared plus 6x plus 8. Now, in general, and we're not going to do it just yet, but in general, you can expect that we see if we can factor this, and we figure out if we can factor this, and if they might have like factors that we can then divide out. But that comes a little bit later, okay? Okay, then we move to this. Now, I recommend that you don't look at anything here and just work this one out and see what happens. And we'll do this in the next video clip.